All right, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. Now, over the weekend, Ian the Vegan Migado Cherry won a pretty boring and a relatively controversial split decision over Geoff Neal. Now, I, for one, wasn't all that upset at the scoring. However, okay, it was a very boring, I said pretty boring in the opening. It was very boring. It was a very boring fight. It just fucking was, okay? There's no arguing it whatsoever. And to be fair, I'm blaming both guys for that, okay? Because Ian the Vegan Migado Cherry, he did show us he could run a marathon within a 30-foot octagon in about 15 minutes, right? Geoff Neal showed us that when he decides he's not going to follow Ian the Vegan Migado Cherry's every move and he's actually going to try and cut him off, actually get him backed up against the fence, what is he going to do? Is he going to throw hands? No. He's going to clinch up with him, okay? And you could hear the frustration on behalf of his corner. But what I want to talk about, okay, is the response and the hypocrisy on behalf of Dana White when he gets asked about fights that people perceive to be boring, okay? I'm going to show you guys a clip from post-UFC 297. We're talking Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis, where a reporter asks Dana White about Movsar Evloev and Arnold Allen, okay? Now, whatever you may think of those two guys, most likely you probably think that they lack personality, and I would not entirely disagree with you. The fact of the matter is that they are both higher ranked than Ian the Vegan Migado Cherry. We had a title fight coming up in a month for their weight division where if someone were to win, like Ilia Topuria, okay, either one of these two guys could potentially be fighting for a title pretty goddamn soon if they were to have had an impressive performance, a decisive victory. Right now, that ended up in a split decision, and it was pretty controversial as well. But that fight, in my opinion, was a fucking banger, okay? And Dana White just shit all over it at the post-fight press conference. And what I want to do is I want to play and show you guys the contrast between what Dana White had to say about that fight, where both guys, blood, cuts, bruises, all this shit. We had the knees to the head from Arnold Allen of Evloev. We had all the Granby rolls to get out of the takedown attempts from Movsar Evloev. He, I think, attempted 17 takedowns or something like that. They threw on top of those 17 takedown attempts relatively the same strikes, pretty damn close to the same strikes as Ian the Vegan Migado Cherry and Geoff Neal did. Absolutely, objectively, a more higher paced fight. So I'm going to show you guys the clip of Dana getting asked about that, and then we're going to look at what Dana White has to say about Ian Garry. Because something that I've noticed, dude, and I'm sure many of you have noticed it as well, is there are certain guys that I would call manufactured stars. They are not organic, right? Sean Strickland is like an organic star. People just kind of started liking him because of the shit he said, not because of UFC push or promotion, right? But then you have the guys like Ian the Vegan Migado Cherry or even Sean O'Malley to a certain extent, where the UFC is clearly trying to manufacture a star out of these guys and shove them down our fucking throats no matter what. Okay, and I think that, you know, as I said, the UFC is doing this with Ian the Vegan Migado Cherry, but then you've got two guys, two very high-level skilled fighters at the top of their division getting shit on for an objectively better fight than Ian the Vegan Migado Cherry. So let's play this clip right fucking now, okay?
I don't think that Neal's any. Look,
Talking about Movsar Evloev against Arnold Allen, that fight.
oh! I thought you were talking about Neal Magny. All right.
I'm just gonna speed it up one sec here, because he, you know, this is a slow portion.
Yeah. I mean, what's his win streak like? He's on.
I think he's like 18, 19.
Yeah, 18 or 19. Yeah, that place sucked the wind right out of the fucking. That fight sucked the wind right out of the arena tonight. So
that fight sucked the fucking wind out of the arena tonight. That was one of the better fights on the card. There were a lot of fucking boring fights on UFC 297. Okay, that card damn near put me to sleep multiple times over. But Arnold Allen and Movsar Evloev, sure as fuck, wasn't one of them. Again, dude. Both guys caused damage. Both guys cut, bloodied. Both guys got hurt. I think there might have even been a knockdown at one point. Like, this fight was a good fight, objectively, okay? High action, high paced, high skill, all that shit. And Dana White says that fight sucked the fucking wind out of the place. So, and go on.
it might bum him out, but he's got to deal with it. Yeah.
It might bum him out, but he's got to deal with it, okay? His fight sucked, okay? So he's taking criticism from the fans. That sucks because he's got to deal with it because his fight sucked. Now let's hear what this motherfucker has to say about Ian the Vegan Migado Cherry's boring performance. And honestly, dude, the guy that asked this question used, I think in my opinion, a very good word to describe Ian the Vegan Migado Cherry's performance. He said it was listless, right? Lacked energy, what have you, right? That's a good word, not too denigrating, just fucking honest, okay? Now let's hear what Dana White's response was to that. And by the way, keep in mind, Ian the Vegan Migado Cherry is not nearly as highly ranked. The implications are not as high unless, like I said earlier, the UFC wants to shove him down our fucking throat, okay? And honestly, I don't understand it, because if you look at Ian Garry's fucking interview numbers and compare them to someone like Merab, okay, who both guys now are in a position where they could potentially be fighting for a title pretty goddamn soon. Merab Dvalishvili, who does not get pushed from the UFC whatsoever. Fan base is solely created and built upon his personality, okay? The shit he posts on social media, his personality during the press conferences, post-fight interviews, and things like that. He's got more than double the amount of views that Ian the Vegan Magado Cherry got, okay? Despite all of the crazy shit that goes on with Ian the Vegan Magado Cherry. But let's take a listen to what Dana White has to say about Ian the Vegan Magado Cherry's performance on Saturday night, which, again, in my opinion, was objectively more fucking boring than Movsar Evloev versus Arnold Allen.
Everybody wants to fight.
He's kept saying at any weight, so obviously I'm sure Conor probably has other ideas of his return. But another Irishman on this card, Ian Garry, didn't really have a nice performance, pretty listless by most regards.
See, he didn't really have a nice performance, pretty listless. I mean, that's an honest way to describe it. That fight did lack energy. Okay, aside from the fact that we saw Ian the Vegan Magado Cherry run a fucking marathon, as I said, in 15 minutes, which might be a goddamn record, okay? He looked like Alistair Overeem towards the end of his career out there. But either way, dude, let's continue.
What do you make of his performance tonight?
What do you mean by listless?
Just
like, I mean, it's a pretty fucking easily defined word, buddy. What do you mean by listless? It lacked energy. It wasn't that exciting. That's a very fine word to describe it. Dana White has a problem with it immediately.
Judging by the crowd's reaction and the way the fight unfolded.
So what do you mean? What did you hate about that fight?
Just
what?
What did you hate about that fight? And then you get Ian the Vegan Magado Cherry in the fucking background having a problem with this question, and then Dana White and him both go at this reporter. But what? Arnold Allen and Movsar Evloev. Fight sucked the fucking air out of the place, okay? That's what Dana White had to say about that fight. Ian the Vegan Magado Cherry versus Geoff Neal. Shit fight. What did you hate about that fight? What could you possibly... What do you mean? What do you mean by listless, okay?
Oh, he's back there. Hey, Ian. This guy thinks your fight sucked tonight. He wants to know my opinion.
Do you think if Arnold Allen was in the back waiting for his interview and he got asked that question about that fight, do you think Dana White would have been like, Arnold Allen, these guys think your fight fucking sucked. What do you have to say about that? Even though nobody except Dana fucking White thought that fight sucked, okay? I apologize for all the swearing, but Jesus Christ, this irritates me, okay? Because I don't understand why the UFC decides they need to shove certain guys down our throats. They don't need to, dude. Stars will be born organically. You may have less of them, okay? But they'll be a lot more valuable when they grow organically, all right? Than guys like Ian the Vegan Magado Cherry, guys like Sean O'Malley, even guys like, to a certain extent, Israel Adesanya, where they just shove them down your fucking throat, even if you're gagging, dude.
On your fight sucking tonight. So what are you asking me about the fight?
I wanted to get your reaction to the performance because I know you put a lot of weight into what the crowd thinks about the fight. So I just want to get your...
Well, I listen, the crowd came in and paid and broke the all-time California record, the gate record and things like that.
Bro, unironically, just used the I already got your fucking money. There was a comedian that did that. I can't remember who it was, but somebody was upset with his performance. And he says, oh, I already got your money. Do you know what I mean? Dana White just pulled that shit. Yeah, the fight sucked. What? I already got your fucking money. We sold out the arena. Yeah, you sold out the arena before that fight happened. Do you know what I mean? So then you're providing a product to the people that sold out that arena, that bought all the tickets, and they've got a problem with the fight, allegedly, according to this reporter, and you just go, yeah, well, we sold it out. What the fuck do you mean? Odd.
But it was a great card, and to say that his fight wasn't a good fight, well, it might not have been a great fight compared to the rest of the night with the card.
So then he goes and he's trying to couch his language a bit because he knows, I think deep down he knows that was a boring fight. He probably started watching boxing or some shit on his fucking monitor. But he's now trying to defend Ian the Vegan Magado Cherry. So the rest of the fights were phenomenal. They were so good that of course that fight looked lackluster. But if that fight, was anywhere else, it wouldn't have looked that bad.
Card, but when you talk about bad cards, Toronto was a bad card. Toronto? Oh,
And then he throws Toronto under the card again, or under the bus again, dude. The Movsar Evloev Arnold Allen fight was on the Toronto card. Yeah, that fight card did suck, dude. But the one guys that put on a good show before the main event got shit on by you, and you're still not acknowledging it. It's odd, dude. He goes back to the UFC 297. Jesus Christ.
We'll try to do better next time. But I wouldn't say that listen, did Ian go out and put on an unbelievable performance tonight? Like, knock down, drag him out, war, and win a fight? No, it wasn't Whitaker Costa, but he won the fight.
And
You know, it wasn't a knockdown, drag him out war, but he won the fight. No criticism whatsoever. Whereas, again, dude, Movsar Evloev, Arnold Allen sucked the fucking air out of the place, okay? That's unhinged to me. There's no way you could say that about that Movsar Evloev fight. And while I'm talking about this, I will have been putting stats up on the screen for you. I will have been putting pictures up on the screen for you. You can tell at the end of the fight, dude, when Arnold Allen and Movsar Evloev are walking away together, they are both cut up, they are both bloody, they are both bruised. Ian the Vegan Mugado Cherry and Geoff Neal, when they're walking around the octagon, both raising their hands or what have you, as if they did just have a knock 'em down, drag 'em out war, they look fine, dude. They look the exact fucking same as they did when they stepped in there, aside from Ian the Vegan Mugado Cherry maybe having a bit of a fat lip. Do you know what I mean? And look, dude, were there good moments in that fight on behalf of Ian the Vegan Mugado Cherry? Yes, okay? There was, right? His knees were really nice, shit like that. He was timing good shots, but, you know, because Geoff Neal was following him around like a fucking, like his prison bitch or something. I don't know what was going on there, but Jesus fucking Christ, you know what I mean? That fight was objectively more boring than Movsar Evloev and Arnold Allen. And again, you've got two guys. I think they were ranked like, I think Movsar Evloev's inside the top 5 now. Do you know what I mean? Arnold Allen was a top 5 fighter. That fight could have potentially been a title eliminator. And you're just shitting on these guys. Whereas you've got a dude who barely makes it past the number 8th ranked Geoff Neal, somehow jumps to rank number 6 in the welterweight division. And, you know, you attack a reporter for saying that it was listless. It's just odd to me, dude. And again, I'm sick of the manufactured stars that they just shove down our fucking throats time and time again. Israel Adesanya, Sean O'Malley, Ian the Vegan Mugado Cherry, and people like this. I found it odd that they were shoving his wife down our throats. Do you know what I mean? Like, you guys are leaning into the, like, it's just weird to me, okay? And also, something else I heard was that, you know, Dana White, Joe Rogan, Ariel Helwani, all asking the same question. How can Ian the Vegan Mugado Cherry be hated? What did he do? Do you know what I mean? Put all of the wife shit aside. All right, I don't even care about it, dude. Fuck it. It's his life. He wants to do that. He can go do it. I don't care. But there are plenty of reasons to dislike Ian the Vegan Mugado Cherry. Okay, he's been kicked out of multiple gyms. You know what I mean? Clearly, not the best person to work with. You don't get kicked out of all those gyms, and it's the other people. Do you know what I mean? It's you, most likely. All right? Also, the Neal Magny shit was gross, and I hate that nobody fucking brings that up, because here's the thing, dude. If Ian the Vegan Mugado Cherry wasn't such a bitch about some of the trash talk that comes his way and trying to set all these ground rules and what have you for what you can and cannot talk about, what you should and shouldn't talk about, that Conor McGregor did trash talk correctly, whereas Sean Strickland does it disgusting and dark and all this shit, even though Conor McGregor objectively got more dark at the Khabib press conference, at throwing the dolly, all this shit. Do you know what I mean? For Ian the Vegan Mugado Cherry to have a problem with the way people trash talk him, and then to go and accuse Neal Magny of being a child abuser because of some autistic trash talk that came out a little awkwardly. Do you know what I mean? And then not give him the time to even try to address or clarify that shit at the fucking press conference. And then you wonder why people dislike you. Do you know what I mean? It's odd. And I'm sick of the UFC shoving these fuckers down our throat. And I'm sick of the UFC shitting on guys who put on great fucking fights that maybe lack a little bit of personality, but perhaps with a little bit of UFC push, you know, the same push that you would give to an Ian Garry, a Sean O'Malley, an Israel Adesanya. Maybe they could potentially be a star. Maybe people would be hyped up more so for Movsar Evloev versus Ilia Topuria than they would be now. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, dude, like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I will see you at the next video. Bye-bye.